In JavaScript, it's much cleaner to use async await than it is to use promises with .then and .catch. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to go from this to this and give you some async await tips along the way. All right, so I'm starting off here in a code pen with an example using the fetch API in JavaScript. And what this is going to do is make a request to this placeholder, JSON placeholder from typecode, where we can get some dummy data back. And this is just kind of a basic to do here. And this is an example using .then and .catch. So you can use callbacks, you can use .then, .catch, and then we can also use async await, which we'll look at in a second, which I personally think is a lot cleaner. So what we do here is we declare this URL, we then make the fetch request to that URL, and that whole thing returns a promise. And then to get the data out of that promise, we have to add a .then to get the response. And this response in this case is an HTTP response that we need to convert to JSON, or we need to get the body out of that response and convert it to JSON. And we do that by calling res.json, which in turn returns another promise. Now, this is one of the neat things about using promises with .then is you can then chain on another .then. So because this returns a promise, res.json, we can .then again, we can chain these together and then get the data. So this is the actual data that's coming back from this URL. And then if there's any errors, we'll log those out under here by using the .catch at the end. Now, this does not look all that great to me. All the .thens in here are multiple .thens, then the .catch down here. It's just not how I would prefer to write my code. Async await is much cleaner. So what we're going to do is we'll convert this over to async await. So we'll get rid of everything in here except for the URL, and then we'll go ahead and convert this to an async await example. So we have our URL, and then what we want to do is put all of this inside of a function. So we can say load data, and then for async await to work, we have to mark the function as async. Then inside of the function, now we can use the keyword await inside of it. So you have to mark your function as async to then be able to use the keyword await inside. All right, so it looks like is that just gonna wrap in a weird way? There we go. That might be a little bit better. So we have our URL, then we have our fetch. Now, instead of doing a .then, what we're going to do is await the response that comes back from fetch. So await keyword here says like, hey, fetch request, go ahead and do your thing. I'll just sit back and relax. I'll sit back and wait for you to return that back to me. All right. So we have the fetch request. Now, how do we get the actual response? Well, we can just assign this to a variable and call it res. So then from here, we can log out our res variable. We can match all these up. All right. So now since we've put this inside of a function, we actually need to call this function. So let's call load data. And hopefully we get our response logging out over here. So it's an object. We'll need to go and look into that a little bit here. So we're able to get the response from this request. And if you remember, there was another step that we needed to convert this thing to JSON. And we had to do this nested .then callback function, which was really, really not great. So let's try this again where we'll get the data. And this is going to come from the res.json. So there's a JSON function that we can call. It also returns a promise, so we need to await that response, and then we can log out our data. Hopefully we'll see that show up over here in the console. There we go. So we're able to get our data. This looks much cleaner than what we just saw. So a couple of tips here. Your function must be marked as async, and then you're able to use your await inside of here. Now you might be wondering, since we have to mark this function as async, do we have to have it be inside of a function? Can we do this as a top level function? The short answer is no, and I'll show you how to fix that, or how you can in a second if you want to. But another tip here is that once we make these requests, what if something goes wrong? We need to handle those errors. Let's say, for example, I do he in front of this domain JSON placeholder. It's going to actually throw an error that we're not handling. So you see, I guess in this case, it's not actually showing us this data. If we were in Node, you would see an error logged out here because we're not handling that error. So the one thing we need to do to handle this is to wrap this in a try catch. So we say, hey, let's try to do this thing. Let's try to do all three of these things. And if not, what are we going to do? Well, we will catch that error, and then we will log out that error. All right, let's move this data back up here. So now let's see if we have that formatted correctly. Cool. So that is able to make the request appropriately. And then if I add he in the domain here, we should see that that is going to trigger the log of our error over here, which it doesn't seem to be. What if we mess with HTTPS? There we go. There. Okay. So you see our previous error. So that's coming through now. So we're able to handle this error. We're able to make 2 async requests or requests to things that return promises and get the data back directly by having this inline async, or excuse me, inline await inside of an async function, which is pretty neat. Now, a couple of things for you to know if you're using the fetch API in JavaScript. You should also be checking the console log. You should be checking the res.status or res.ok. Res.ok will return a Boolean if the status is between 200 and 209. So we should see that returns true. If we were to point this to something that doesn't exist, it's going to return a 404, which then means that res.ok is not okay. It's going to return false. So if you're using the fetch API and in any other APIs that you might be working with, make sure that you know how an error comes through, because it may not actually trigger the .catch down here. It might be something that's embedded in the data, so you might have to check that. Another little hot tip for you. All right, so another key to this is that async functions here now return a promise. You may think this is fairly straightforward, but by default, they return a promise. So let's say we wanted to return the data that comes out of this, and then we tried to log out the data. Actually, let's do const data equals load data, and then let's log out data. So take a second, pause really quickly to see what you think this is going to do. It probably doesn't do exactly what you think, because this function up here will return a promise. So even though it's got async await, even though we're returning the data here, because it's marked as async, this means that this function inherently returns a promise. Now, if you handle that promise, in theory, we'll get this data here. So if this thing returns a promise, we would need to do a dot then here to get the data, and then we can log this data here. And then we can get rid of the variable assignment. And let's get rid of this log up here. And let's make sure that our to-dos is actually pointing to a correct URL. And now let's see if we actually get back this data. Cool. So because this function is marked as async, it is now going to return a promise, which means then pun intended, to handle or to get the response back, we have to do a dot then, since we're not inside of an actual function here. Now, what if you wanted to do top level async await? Well, you can do a little bit of a hacky thing called an IIfe that is marked as async. So an IIfe allows you to define inside of these parentheses a function that will then be called directly. So you're putting, let's see if the bracket, making sure I have my syntax right here. IIFes are tricky and kind of gross, to be honest. So inside of this parenthesis, I have a function that then is getting called immediately. It's an immediately invoked function. So that means in here, I could call, say, const data equals load data, and then await this data, console log this data. But there will be one more thing we're missing if we want to do this. We need to mark this function as async. So this will allow us now to use this IIfe to run top level async await, which means I don't have to put it inside of a function per se, although we're kind of hacking it together to put it inside of this IIfe function. Now, one thing to note with Node, I believe it's 14.8, running top level async without this little hack, running it like this is actually available in Node 14.8, I think. So you can go and double check that. But in some, depending on which version of Node, you may be able to use this directly and not have to do the kind of hacky IIfe thing. Hacky IIfe thing? All right, so I'm going to comment this out because I'm not going to use this anymore. The last thing I want to show you is the idea of a Promise.all. Now, let's say that with this API, we wanted to retrieve the first 3 items inside of the to-dos that come back from this placeholder data. Well, if we wanted to make 3 fetch requests, it would be really gross. And, well, actually, let's just take a look at what that would look like. So here is, will this copy? No. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do URL 2. This will get item 2. This is 3. And this is 3. So this is, again, really gross. For each one of these, we would need to do all or both of these statements. So we could duplicate this twice, have this be 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. You get why this is not so great. This will be 3, this will be 2, this will be 1. So we're making the request for the first one, we're getting its data, we're making the request for the second one, getting its data, and so on and so on. And then we could potentially return an array of these pieces of data. So we could do data 1, data 2, and data 3. And if we were still logging this out, I guess we could. Let's go ahead and let's leave this iffy and log out this data. Let's just see if we get those 3 different things in an array, because we just wrote a little bit of code really quickly there. So it says undefined. We look inside of URL 1 there. Need to mark that. All right, let's see if that fixed it. Still undefined. And we need to make sure that we update these response objects to res1, res2, and res3. All right, now can we get back an array of data? There we go. Okay, so all that stuff is coming back, which is good. But this is obviously really gross. So how could we change this up a little bit? Well, we could use Promise.all. So Promise.all is a way to kind of group promises and then let them run at the same time. Because the problem with async await here, if we do this, we're going to have to make these two await or async requests. Those will have to finish completely. Then we make these two. Then we make these two, which means if it takes 2 seconds, which it does, if it takes 1 second for each to get each piece of this data, so each of these to-dos, that means it's going to take a total of 3 seconds to get all of them back. However, with Promise.all, we can let them run in parallel so that we can run all 3 at the same time, which means in theory, the total time it takes to get all 3 would be just 1 second. So we can now kind of group these things into one. So we can say, we can get our results and we can use Promise.all. And then now we want to pass in an array of our requests. So the first one could be fetch URL 1. And then I'm going to copy this a couple of times. So there's fetch for 2 and fetch for 3. Probably be better if we put this on its own line. All right. And maybe even for readability, for extra readability, to put these on their own line as well. All right. So what we're saying here is we're going to pass in an array of promises, fetch, returns a promise, and then results here is going to do a promise.all on each of those. So if we then were to log out the results, we're not quite getting the data that we're looking for yet, but we are getting what comes back from the actual, there it is right there, the actual fetch request. We then need to convert that data to JSON. All right, so we can get we can get the results back in an array where they're in order, first, second, third. And then we could also take those items that come back in results, and we could use those to convert them each to JSON. So we could do this by taking the results, we could map over them, and then for each one, we're going to convert it. So we're going to say for each result, we want to return result.json. All right, so this is a little tricky, but we're saying as we iterate through each one of these results, we want to call its result.json. If you remember, result.json or response.json returns a promise. So now this is actually the data responses array, and we can then use that to get the final data is promise.all, and then we pass in an array of promises, which is data, and actually, I think this is supposed to have been named data promises. So let's name that a little bit better. Data promises. All right. Now let's try to log out the final data. And let's get rid of these returns. Let's start to clean this up a little bit. Let's see if that works. All right, so we've got some sort of error in here. Oh, well, the one thing we need to do is await the promise.all. We completely missed that. So with promise.all, since it has to do some asynchronous stuff, we have to then await to get its results. After we get those results, then we map through them to convert each one to JSON. Then we can await converting those each to JSON. And now we get the final data, which is logged out, and we could return the final data here and get rid of this log. All right, so what we're able to do, just to do this one more time, is we're able to make all three of these fetch requests in parallel at the same time, get all three results. Those are in order in an array. Then we convert those results to JSON. So this returns promises to get the data. Then we promise.all that, and we could actually put this all in one line if we wanted to. That maybe is a little grosser, but that should work out the exact same. There we go. So that works out the exact same. So what we're doing there is we're getting our array of promises from mapping each result to its JSON form, and then await promise all lets all those three things run in parallel instead of after each other. And then we get our final data and return that. So a couple of different things to make sure that you remember when working with async await. You have to mark your function as async. That enables you to use the await keyword inside of it. You cannot use, unless you're using a specific version of Node 14.8 or higher, you cannot use async await, await unless it's inside of a function. So if you want to use top level await, you can wrap it in this IIfe thing, which is kind of weird. It's kind of gross. And then lastly, make sure you're handling your errors by wrapping all of your async await stuff inside of a try catch. So you handle errors and do it that way. All right, hopefully that helped you understand a little bit more about the details of how to use async await. Let me know if you have any other questions related to async await or asynchronous JavaScript. I'd be happy to cover them in another video. Thanks as always for checking out this video and the channel, and I'll catch you next time.